On a deserted street corner inside the quieter part of the town, Emily sat by myself, hugging her knees to her chest. The bloodless wind whipped via the streets, making the flickering streetlights appear even lonelier. Her jacket changed into thin against the sitback, but that wasn't what made her shiver. It became the burden of worry, regret, and melancholy urgent down on her. At just 2 decades vintage, she had never imagined existence could feel this unbearably heavy. Emily's thoughts raced with the activities of the past few days. An activity possibility had appeared like a miracle, a danger to earn sufficient money to aid her sick dad and mom, and comfortable her personal destiny. But now, it felt like a lure that had swallowed her complete. She notioned approximately the $8,000 she had taken from her parents, the money supposed for her subsequent semester's tuition. She had located her agree within a stranger and had been betrayed. As she stared blankly on the cracked pavement, a younger guy approached. Ryan, in his mid-1920s, turned into returning home from his overdue shift whilst he noticed Emily. He slowed his pace, situation at once overtaking him. There has been something about the way she hugged herself, her trembling body, and the unhappiness in her eyes that drew him in. "Hello, sister. How are you? I heard you spent ultimate nighttime here. Changed into that virtually you?" Ryan requested lightly, crouching slightly so he turned into at her level. Emily lowered her eyes, her cheeks burning with shame. "Yes, it become me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You didn't face any problems, did you?" Ryan requested, his voice smooth, however sincere. Emily shook her head. "No," she stated quietly, but her eyes informed a different story. "She changed into fearful on my own, and uncertain of in which to show." Ryan paused for a second, reading her. "Don't be afraid, I'm no longer a bad person. My company is just across the street. However, why are you sitting here alone? What's happening?" Emily's voice trembled. "May you please lend me $200? I want to go returned home." Ryan was startled. $200? Sure, I will supply it to you. However, what occurred precisely? Her fingers shook as she stated the story, her voice quivering with disgrace and sorrow. "I came here looking for a job. I noticed an ad online. It said that if I deposited $8,000 as a safety, I would get earnings of $20,000 after a month, and my deposit would be again. I took this cash from my dad and mom. It became my lessons fee. However, simply, 3 days later, they fired me. And now that man or woman has disappeared. I've nowhere to show." Ryan felt a decent ache in his chest as he listened. He could see the concern and hopelessness reflected in her eyes. "Oh God, how should you be so naive?" he murmured, remorse in his tone. "What form of task gives the sort of huge profits for so little effort?" Emily started out to cry, her frame shaking. "My dad and mom are sick. My father can't do heavy paintings and my mom is on remedy. I just desired to help them. That's why I fell into this lure. I wanted to guide them. However, now I've best made matters worse." Ryan gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Have you ever eaten something on account that ultimate nighttime?" Emily shook her head. Starvation gnawed at her stomach, but satisfaction and shame had saved her from asking all and sundry for help. "No," she whispered. "Come on," Ryan said softly, supplying her his hand. "Allow us consume something first. Don't fear, I'll assist you." Emily hesitated. "However, now I have not anything left. My training, my mother and father, the entirety is terrible." Ryan pulled a few cash from his pocket and positioned it in her hands. Tears streamed down Emily's face. I'm able to take this," she whispered. "You should," Ryan stated firmly. "This is your right. Daughters like you, who care for their parents, who sacrifice a lot, are the real aid of their families. You've executed not anything wrong but been misled. Don't punish yourself for a person else's deception." Emily took a deep breath, trembling, and sooner or later allowed herself to accept the assist. That evening, they walked together to a small diner. Emily ate her first heat meal in almost 24 hours, and with each bite, she felt a small spark of wish ignite inside her. Over the following couple of days, Ryan continued to check in on Emily. He helped her reconnect with valid task possibilities, guided her in budgeting her training and family charges, and reminded her of her internal energy. Slowly, Emily commenced to understand that mistakes didn't define her. They were training that might make her more potent, wiser, and more compassionate. Emily back home, along with her lessons paid and groceries for her mother and father. The relief on their faces became unforgettable. Her father clasped her hand and said, "You've continually been robust, Emily. We're happy with you." Her mother hugged her tightly, tears in her eyes. That night, Emily realized something important. Existence's demanding situations were now not meant to ruin her. They have been meant to train her resilience, patience, and gratitude. In the weeks that followed, Emily secured a solid process that allowed her to contribute to her circle of relatives' well-being. Each paycheck she earned felt like a small victory against the shadow of her beyond mistake. She persisted her education, extra decided than ever to create a cozy destiny for herself and her family. And via it all, she carried Ryan's kindness in her heart, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there were humans willing to step forward with generosity, guidance, and care. Months later, Emily's story commenced to spread among pals and co-workers. Human beings had been inspired by means of her braveness, her willingness to persevere despite setbacks, and her capacity to accept help with humility. She found out that vulnerability became not weakness, and requesting help become not shameful. Life would retain to throw boundaries her manner. However, with resilience, wish, and the support of type-hearted human beings, she may want to triumph over whatever. Ryan and Emily kept in touch. He have become a mentor to CERN, providing recommendation, encouragement, and steering each time she needed it. Emily regularly idea approximately that nighttime at the abandoned road corner. The moment that could have been just every other sad tale, however, instead have become the turning point in her lifestyles. Her mother and father fitness slowly advanced, and Emily determined a rhythm balancing paintings, research, and being concerned for them. She found out that mistakes, hardships, and deception had been a part of life. However, so were redemption, kindness, and ensued chances. Her attitude shifted. In preference to fearing failure, she discovered to embrace it as a trainer. Rather than keeping apart herself in shame, she found out to attain out for help. Emily also started volunteering in her network, assisting younger girls who were prone to scams and deceptive process offers. She shared her tale brazenly, hoping to save you others from making the identical mistakes. She discovered a profound sense of reason and fulfillment in guiding others, and in doing so, healed similarly from her personal beyond. Years later, Emily meditated on the adventure she had taken. She had faced fear, shame, and despair, but she had also skilled kindness, wish, and resilience. She had learned that lifestyle's darkest moments will be the start of something better. And most significantly, she found out that the moral compass of a single compassionate character, like Ryan, could alternate the course of a person's life all the time. Moral: life is unpredictable and now and again harsh. Mistakes and hardships are inevitable, but they don't define your well-worth. Proper electricity lies in resilience, humility, and the braveness to simply accept assist when needed. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, can rework lives, and on occasion the guidance and compassion of one individual can mild the root out of depression.